Hi, welcome to this video about maintaining a musical practice as a ritual. Any practice that you maintain or have can be considered a ritual. A practice of daily exercise, of meditation or journaling, or playing an instrument. It's a routine that we're returning to again and again each day with intention and dedication. Playing piano as a hobby is a ritual that requires intention and joyful practice in order to be self-sustaining. So I just wanted to talk about a few points or tips, guidelines that you can come back to again and again in order to have a ritual or intentional routine of practicing an instrument. The first thing is you can begin with something simple and structured every time. So instead of sitting here and going, okay, I'm at the instrument, where do I start? You always know what to start with. You have something in mind, a place to begin each time. Sometimes that's a technical exercise, a scale, a dynamic warm-up, articulations, having short sounds or longer sounds or more accented sounds. Sometimes that is something more personal or meaningful, maybe a really nice chorale or a melody from your childhood or something that just really resonates with you and carries some personal meaning. But the most important thing is however you decide to start your practice, you have a set couple of things that you can return to each time. So you're never at a loss for where to start. You know, when I sit down, I can play this scale, I can play this song, I can play something, and then I'm ready to go. The next thing when you're building a ritual of practice is to work through tasks with intention and focus. So if you want really efficient practice as you're coming back again and again and you have goals you want to accomplish, you really want to tackle some of those things right away. So if I'm trying to get better at a song, and I know that part of that song is really difficult, I'm going to say, okay, I'm starting with that section of that song, and I'm going to look really at small details while my mind is fresh and clear, while I'm energized about my practice, and while I'm feeling really inspired to go ahead and try something difficult. So I'm going to zoom in on challenging sections and work on them with great detail before zooming back out and putting those sections into context in my practice. One of my favorite pieces of advice for practice is to always have dessert. And this saying, it doesn't have to be dessert first, right? It doesn't have to be your favorite thing first. But it's this way of always doing something that brings you joy or reminds you of why you're doing it. Why are you learning an instrument? Why are you practicing your instrument to begin with? Why are you working through this musical skill? So sometimes that's a song you played ages ago that just really brings you a lot of joy. Like you're happy, you're lit up, you're inspired. This is why you play. Maybe it's something you're working on right now that you've seen a lot of growth on while you're working on it. And you want to come to that because it just makes you smile and you're like, this is why I'm here. It's also very similar to the saying, this always have dessert. In this context, it's very similar to the old adage of never go to bed angry. And it's just to say that maybe you're doing something really challenging that feels uncomfortable. New growth is uncomfortable. Instead of walking away from your musical practice feeling disappointed or inadequate or unhappy with yourself, really make sure that you're spending time with the things that bring you joy and make you happy, because that's going to bring you back to the piano again tomorrow. If you walk away from the instrument upset, it is going to be harder for you the next day to say, I'm energized about playing. But if you walk away feeling like, oh yeah, that's why I do this, you're more likely to come back again the next day. A few other tips I have are to take notes. So I have this musical notes journal that I made and I'm really happy with. Here's some scribblings of a song that I started to write. The beginning of this it has alternating text lines and music stuff. And the different sections in here, there's all music staff for taking notes, writing scales and songs out, and all text also in case you want to write notes about your practice or you're writing lyrics for a song or something. But I think when you're practicing, it can be really helpful to take notes as you are actively practicing, because that gives you information the next day as to where to start. But it also gives you real-time growth tracking. You can go back and look at your notes and go, oh yeah, that's what I did. That's where I'm at. So I think taking notes can be a really helpful way to keep track of what you're doing and what you want to be doing on the instrument. Another way to do that, not just with a notebook, but you can make videos. Some people love to make like a little video log of what they're doing. You know, captain's entry, start date, 103, whatever. You have your own, like, okay, today's my 4th day in a row of playing. Here's what I worked on. Maybe you have a before and after, like, this is what I'm working on. And then in 2 weeks, you record it again to see how it's grown and to compare that. I think that can be really helpful information as well. There are also apps that let you track your practice time. It's literally like a timer that you start. You, like, type the name of your piece. You press practicing now. And you keep track of what you're practicing. And I had a student tell me that she was using this and was like, oh, I felt like I'm practicing an hour or 2 every day. Where's all my time going? And she said, I used this and like the really challenging song I needed to be working on, I was only spending 10 minutes on. And you kind of discover what you're actually doing in your practice and get some more information and details using these different strategies for taking notes during your practice. I also think it's really important to there's a way that you can almost trick your brain into thinking that you're practicing more than you are. So and also to trick yourself, not to say that you have to trick yourself. It shouldn't be like something that you begrudge doing, but you can build a routine of coming back again and again by coming back to the instrument multiple times a day. And I mean, this is true of any practice, but I think musical instruments, it's really helpful for pacing your endurance. And with an instrument, you shouldn't be just burning yourself out to the point that you can't play again that day, the way you might with exercise or other activities. So trying to create, instead of sitting at the piano for 90 minutes today, what if I did 3 30-minute sessions? And what's really powerful and kind of amazing about that is there are studies indicating that our brain kind of resets. You forgot everything since you last practiced. You sit down and play it and get familiar with it and grow in that time from forgetting to remembering or learning or making growth and progress. And when you walk away, like I'm going to go, I don't know, drink a LaCroix, have a snack, come back here in 30 minutes. Or maybe I practiced before I went to work and I can play again when I get back or whatever. When you come back, it's like a new day. Your brain, you forgot what you did earlier. It's not fresh in your mind because other things have happened since. You're distracted. You're not thinking actively of those things. So when you come back, you're starting fresh again. So it's like a new day of practice. So by breaking it up throughout the day, instead of having one long session, I'm still spending that much time at the piano, but my brain thinks I just got 3 days of practice in that one day. And that is kind of cool that we can just hack our brains that way a little bit. So that's a great way if you don't have a lot of time or you're really motivated to learn piano fast or learn an instrument fast. That's a great way to get started. I'll also say kind of looping back to talking about how you want to start your practice and having a routine and a plan in place, but also looping back to taking notes about your practice. When you are finishing your day at the piano, write down what you did and then figure out what you need to do next. Because right now you're in that mode. You're like, man, I'm working on this detail. The thing I need to do to really get this detail down is I need to practice slow with a metronome. Or instead of practicing 16 measures, I need to practice these 2 measures for like 10 minutes. until I can't make a mistake on them anymore. So you know it's fresh in your mind what you need to work on. Write it down. Make a plan for your next time at the piano, because then the next time that you sit down at the piano, you know instantly what to do and where to start. This is how I need to warm up. This is what I need to work on this song. You can have really efficient, effective practice and not feel like you're just sitting here wondering what to do or where to start. And the last thing that I want to share that I think is just essential and is one of my guiding principles as a player and as a teacher is to leave space for joy and creative play. So whatever you're doing, make sure you're, that always have dessert. Make sure you're playing something that makes you really happy, but also get comfortable just making noise on the piano. Just try something, play some notes, experiment. Listen to music when you're away from the piano. Continue to engage with that joy and that sense of playfulness, because that's what's going to bring you back. That's probably what brought you here to start with. So I wanted to share a few of those tips and tricks. I am Kelsey Georgeson. I teach piano lessons, private lessons, and I teach adult piano classes. I specialize in sharing a lot of different styles and genres with adult learners. And thank you so much for watching my video.